Hiya there. So I have already opened this container and I have already been experimenting a little bit with it, but I wanted to share it with you because it's pretty fantastic, really. So this is a Prim knitting mill and came in this box here. I had my trouble opening it, so apologies for that. You get the machine, okay, the handle. This is twisted all the way up when you get it. This is just set to my table depth. Now there are various different YouTube videos that I've seen for making it, which is really helpful. It does come with English. English is the second on there. The instructions were pretty clear. I've tried a different one and absolutely hated it, but this one I have to say is pretty good. When I was reading the instructions, I'm not even sure if I can find where it is, but I got the impression it was meant to come with some thread and a needle, I think, but it didn't come with anything other than this and the instructions. So let me explain. So you have 4 hook needles up here that are like, you know, when you do rug making and stuff like that. They've got these little latches, if you can see, and what it does is it creates French knitting. So let me show you. Sorry, it's on the floor. It's really helpful. So this is the length I've created, and I'm busy knitting into a strap at the minute, and it's surprisingly quick. It's quite impressive actually. So what I thought I'd do is I would show you starting off a new batch. I'm afraid it is a little bit dark and dismal under my desk, but I'll do what I can. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, so you've got this metal pole in the middle here. Basically, I'm going to push that onto the table like so. Now, if you have a little narrow crochet hook, hang on, just see if I can get you down a bit. That's going to be brilliant. I do, and I have lost it, so I use this little, what is it? It's a paintbrush, but without the painting bit. I'm going to grab a bit of, here's the remainder of my wool. So this was, come here, where's the end? Come here, end. Come here. Right, okay. So this was one of those cupcake yarns, and I've used quite a lot of it. This is actually my 3rd ball, but I'm going to show you how I do this. So what I do is put a little bit of sellotape on here. You need to make sure whatever you use can fit right down the centre, and then I'm going to poke it down. Okay, now one thing I didn't discover for ages, I'm not going to be able to show you, am I? Right, this thing here, I could not get it out at all. It's the weight, but if you pull it towards you like that, it will come off. So there you go. Okay, so it's gone all the way through. Now this is the bit that I find slightly irritating. This is where a crochet hook is really helpful actually. Quite often, I mean, it does depend very much on the yarn that you're using, but quite often I find the weight rips the wool. So you want to make sure, I just put it on my knee to start with, because if it's pulling down too much, it'll rip off. Okay, so at the top, what we're doing, before we put it in the support at the back, what we're going to do is just make sure that each one that comes up is going to have its little latch down. We've all got them down, and we're going to go hook the first one, miss the second one, hook the third one, miss the fourth one, and then hook the 4th one at the you know, going back to the beginning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this and hook it on the back, and I'm going to keep hold of that, and allowing the weight to do a little bit of work, but hopefully not too much. Sorry, it does look very dismal under my desk, doesn't it? It's actually busy swinging, which you don't want. See, that's exactly what happens, and I didn't want it to happen. I think what I'm going to do is just pull it for now until it got long enough. So I'm going to twist the handle. I'm keeping the tension on this, making sure this thread is in the little loop. And it makes this very pleasant clip-clop noise. So I'm trying to maintain a pressure. The reason it breaks is because on the inside is a metal ring that it's got to get through. And sometimes it frays. See, look, that's completely frayed. So I'm going to have to be a little bit devious with this one. It's only just started doing this. It's a bit annoying, really. What I'm doing is trying to make sure it pushes down. Like I said, it was absolutely fine the first few times, but it started being a bit of a pain. The weight, you see, pulls the whole thing down. I'm starting to see an end coming through. So I'm not doing a very good demonstration. It's not very glamorous, is it? It's starting to come down though. Look, I'm managing to pull it through a little bit. Come on, a bit more. So when I started doing this, I wanted to make jewellery, which I am planning to actually do as a workshop, which is kind of exciting. But it does mean I need to get more of these machines, which they aren't exactly the cheapest. But I thought, oh, I know, I'll make a scarf. So I got loads of offcuts of wool, and the thing that's rather nice, if you have lots of offcuts, the knots, when you knot the wool together, can go in the middle, so you don't notice it. I mean, you get a line where the colour changes, obviously, but that's about it, really. It's really smooth. And I thought I'll have a go at crocheting it. So what I'll do... Okay, so I had a go. This is the multicoloured one. So this is just using up lots and lots of little scraps of wool. And I hand crocheted this one. So just using my fingers, I looped it through. It's kind of fun, but the colours are too... I don't know, they kind of go into each other too much. I was trying to create a rainbow, so I'd sort of started with, well, rather the girls had sorted me out with a rainbow, and it started with the reds and was going through yellows and oranges, but you can't see the rainbow in that at all. Then I discovered that, well, I don't know about discovered, but I thought, I know, I'll knit something, so maybe I'll knit a scarf. And the knitting is gorgeous. I mean, I got this variegated wool cake, and it's just so lovely. But the thing is that this is very nearly one entire ball of wool, and it takes me a couple of days because my hands hurt. I can't do it for too long to make the yarn. So it's a very expensive type of yarn, and a type of, you know, making it as a yarn. But it is very, very dense. So I'm actually going to make myself like a little bag. So this is the front panel. I've done the back panel with a little lid that comes over. And now I'm working on the strap. It's a little bit wobbly, but I think it'll be fine. And because it's ever so thick, I mean, you've got to bear in mind that each one of these has been French knitted, and then it's been normal knitted on top. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be fine. So I'm getting very close. Oh, it's starting to come out of the bottom now. If I get it a little bit further. Oh, I've got a little knot. Come here. Of course, when you get to the, can you see there's a little bit of a knot going in there, but it will go inside and you won't even see it. It's quite fantastic. disappears down the middle. Hurrah! Okay, so here you go. You can see the yarns coming out. I mean, I haven't been doing it for that long, and so much has come out already. Now, I need to get the weight now. And this is very much where you can see how it's split there. This is where a crochet hook really comes in useful. So what I'm going to do is actually use my weeding hook because I cannot find my other at all. Okay, so once, sorry, you can't see you. Hopefully you can now. Okay, so what I've done is I've threaded it through the middle of the weight, like that. When you want to store it or finish it, you can pop it back up in there and it'll stay there, but don't knit with it up there because there's just no use whatsoever. There's no point. So while you're doing the knitting, keep the weight quite near the top, pull the thread up one of the grooves and it'll just keep it in place. So when I'm knitting now, you can see it's always being kept tight in the middle there because I've got the weight on. Now, you can't just keep going like that. I mean, I know it sounds like it'll be really, really fun, but what happens is the wool twists. So if I show you while I'm doing it. Okay, so as I'm turning it, can you see it's twist wool you have attached to it? The more twisty it will get. So what I do is I make it go all the way to the floor, and then I stop and I move the weight back up to the top and I start again, keeping it still attached. Let's see if I can show you. I am so sorry about the light though, because it's just very dark and dismal under my table. So you can see it moving down quite quickly. It does sort of create this wonderful sort of chunky yarn, but oh look, see, I wasn't paying attention and I have unhooked it, and actually I'm going to have a little bit of a bump there because I haven't got my crochet hook with me, so it'll still stay in place, but you will notice that there is a bit of a bump. That normally only happens when my kids are involved. I'll show you what it's like when it comes through, it won't be long. So I don't know if the ticking noise is good or bad. I don't like the squeak, but the squeak is quite new. I think it's because I really have used it quite a lot in the last couple of weeks. I've noticed you start getting problems here when you forget about this tension here. That's why it slipped, because what happened is this thread had gone down the side here. I don't know if you can see, but it is spinning like crazy. Come here. Oh. And there you go. There you can see the bit that I did wrong. You know where it's the needle slipped? So with this bit, what I would do is either cut that bit out and knot either side, or just knit it in. I have to see how it works, really. Do you know, I haven't had any problems with any of my other cakes getting knotted, but look, how irritating. So when it gets a certain length, what I do is I pull this up here like this, reattach it at the top. When I start, and then I sort of knot, I do like a big loose knot at the ends. What I also do sometimes is put it all into a little freezer bag. Like that. And then tie a knot around the top. And what happens is that the weight is inside, so you still got the weight, but none of the rest of the cord gets twisted up. It just sort of spins around like that. but I do have to keep lifting it out. Anyway, I will show you how I'm getting on, and you can let me know what you think. It's not too bad, I have to admit. It's loads better than this. I got this little handheld one that they had on Kirsty's Christmas, and I could not get on with that at all. It just drove me insane. But now I understand the process, I reckon it will probably be all right. I'll give it another go, I think, anyway. So I will see you in a bit, and I'll show you me doing some knitting with it.